What's something that you have done while horny and you regret it? When I was young I would ride this huge stuffed bear like a horse. Came out the shower and jumped on it naked and it tickled my nuts so good I just came all over the bear. My first ever nut. I would rush home from school to tickle my balls and just nut and nut and nut on this stuffed bear until one day it disappears. So I start humping my pillows the same way and nutting on my pillows then sleeping on them like an animal. My brother walks in one day, shows me a porno Mac then takes me to the computer and shows me a porn video. He goes, "Notice how they clean up after?" Among other completely uncensored and straightforward sex talk. Years later we are all drunk at my parents for New Year's and my brother brings it up. "Hey, remember when you would duck stuffed animals and pillows?" I'm like, "You guys knew? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?" And they tell me how I would just leave the door open and they have seen me just clapping bear and pillow cheeks. Not to mention the massive amount of cum stains and black stuffed animal fur. And how they would all laugh until my brother decided to give me the sex talk so my dumbus could figure out that stroking my dick was the proper way to masturbate and not tickled my little boy balls until completion. Sometimes I still think about it and it makes me shudder in embarrassment. Maybe 15 to 20 years ago, still living at home with siblings, I thought it would be a great idea to print off a bunch of pictures of close-up vaginas, pin them all over the wall in the downstairs washroom like some serial killer, and spend the day in my vagina room doing whatever. Evidently I left some in the print queue, and they finally printed later. When my sister used the computer, all I remember hearing was her yelling, "Oh god, your vaginas are printing. Your vaginas are printing." Never lived that one down. Mom was also upset about the holes in the bathroom wall. A guy I met at a bar weeks before invited me over to watch some movies. I was extremely horny, extremely drunk and extremely bleeding out of my V. He made a move on me. I said I'd love to, but it's the wrong time of the month for it. He just shrugged and said I shouldn't worry. He likes that kind of thing. Cue to him flinging a soaked up tampon out my V, splattering blood everywhere in the process. The sex was good. The murder scene after not so much. Definitely wouldn't agree again. Dated the most incredible and insane dude years ago who would just whip tampons right out. Didn't care. Would even put fresh ones back in afterwards. Like it was nothing. Great relationship. Sadly had to break up because he kept dreaming I was trying to beat him to death with a 6-foot frozen fish and would fight back in his sleep. But hey, good times till then. You know those silicone ass things they have in sex shops for like $300? When I was in Montreal in my sophomore year of college, I tried to buy one. My debit card got declined, so I didn't buy it. I got a call from my dad that evening saying someone in Montreal must have stole it from me, and I had to do the talk of shame explaining that I really did do that. Asked my husband to use the whip on me when I was on my knees. He has terrible aim. He literally whipped my pussy on accident, and it was unlike any kind of pain I'd ever felt, and I've given birth 3 times. Was in China. Rode a train for 2 hours to meet a girl. Didn't have sex. A terrible blowjob. She got tired after a minute then cried 'cause she missed her ex. Not me, but a friend. He drove to another city to lose his virginity. He was up all night with the girl, so he fell asleep on the ride home. Totaled his car. He told his parents he was staying at my house overnight. So it was awkward conversation when he had to call his parents to explain why he totaled his car about 100 miles from home. Edit. He actually did get laid. He said it wasn't worth it. Me and my friend were supposed to take a visiting foreign professor for drinks. After a couple of beers the guy told us that he wanted to see some women. We took him to a softcore strip club. After the first beer the guy said that he wanted something more extreme. Prostitution is legal in my country and we took the guy to probably the largest bar with sex workers of our city. It was a bizarre place, and after few minutes our reputable visiting academic sealed the deal with the lady. The guy went with the lady to her room and came back after about 15 minutes. Suddenly the guy said that he was tired and wanted to head back to his hotel. On the ride back, The guy started weeping and telling us about his family and giving us advice about why we should love and respect our partners. I had never seen so much post-nut regret in my life. Sad guy. A football game was on and had gotten a better TV. Mentioned that to an ex and offered to buy dinner from a place she liked. She ate the food like she hadn't eaten in 3 days and gotten food all over her face. Claims the food was that good. She goes to bathroom to wash and comes out naked. She spreads out on the floor and says to me, I'm 5 feet away and the smell hits me. I say let me go to the bathroom first and I end up puking from the smell. Using the twin percussion handheld back massager on my dick. NGL it felt really ducking good, but it left a lingering tender feeling that had me walking funny for a bit. Happened when I was but a wee mid-teen. A stripper let me jack off in front of her once. That and another time I ducked a hamburger. In my early teen years, I accidentally made my clit burn using Vicks VapoRub that was supposed to give it a tingling sensation. I watched way too much BDSM and got ideas. I was in immense pain and was lying spread out under cold water to try and make it stop. And I couldn't tell my extremely religious parents or they would freaked out. When I was about 12 to 13, I had just learned about sex. One day I was super horny and was playing with my dad's back massager. I quickly realized that it felt really good to press it on my dick. I took it into my bedroom and went to town. My mom was walking by and heard the noise, so she just let herself in. Needless to say things were weird after that for a bit, and she hid the massager. Ruined a jar of peanut butter. I did the same with a jar of strawberry jelly. We should get together and make a sandwich after. Surely there's a bread guy in this thread somewhere. Her name was Annie, and she stalked me for 2 years after that. Not sure if this counts but was about to do it with a guy and discovered we had no condoms. Decided to drive across town to his place since he had some. Got in a minor, not our fault, car accident on the way there. Ended up at the cop station to report it instead of banging. Using shampoo to jerk off. Worst piss pain ever. When I was a stupid teen, I put an ice cube in my vagina. My reasoning was that if hot water felt nice, maybe something extremely cold would. It did not feel nice. It was horrible, and I couldn't remove it. 3 minutes of agony. Late to the game, and this will get buried but I knocked up my ex-wife 1 month after our divorce was final. Fuck my landlord. He lived in the same building on the floor below me with his ex-fianc. It was actually pretty fun until he started monitoring when I was home and knocking on my door when he knew I was home alone. Had to put an end to that real quick. My only regret is not getting a discount on rent. Tried to suck my own dick while taking a bath while with hips up. Surprise surprise, tubs are slippery and I ended up with my neck caught under my arm as I did a back roll and landed on my side. Involuntarily gasped in pain and began to choke on water, almost drowning my own ducking bathtub. My neck also hurt like hell for a week. Edit, no Jesus duck. Why didn't I post this on a throwaway _? Thanks for the awards. Gonna drown my sorrows in karma. Was at bar, ran into the hot girl from high school. She was still hot. We hit it off, had fun for the night, gave her a ride home. I was super horny and thought this was gonna be amazing. She did not invite me inside, so I just went home sad but still horny. So proceeded to pull on the old cum dispenser. Had a great time, felt way better. As I was cleaning up she calls me and wants me to come over because she is lonely. I think hey, I might still have some spunk left in my junk. I head over, we start getting frisky and I cannot make the soldier stand to attention. She crying thinking it's her fault. I tell her what happened and we try again, still can't get it to wake up. Between the alcohol and my balls empty, he was just a limp noodle. She asked me to leave and felt like a pile of shit. Never did hear from her again. Stupidly traded nudes with a guy I met online. He kept trying to get me to meet up for sex and I refused. One day he told me he found me on Facebook and if I didn't meet up with him, He would send all my nudes to everyone on my Facebook friends list. So me young and terrified I meet up with him for sex. He lets me delete all the photos of me from his phone. After I leave I get a text from his wife saying she found my number on his phone and wanted to know if we had had sex. I told her the story and that I literally just left and of course had no idea he was married and that he blackmailed me. She apologized for what he had done, saying it's not the first girl has done it too. Still feel dirty and a shit ton of guilt after that years later. Drove 1200 miles. Friend passed away due to a trucking accident. Went on Tinder due to desired needs after a divorce. Took a chick's virginity and later found out she was the friend's sister visiting for the few weeks till they figured out the funeral. Never told anyone about this. This happened when I was like 19. Just got broken up with. Was working late and the guy who I had a slight crush on was at my desk just shooting the shit with me. I told him about my recent breakup. He called my ex an idiot. Complimented me. Made me feel great and next thing I know he's behind me railing me out on the desk. He had a long-term girlfriend. So I felt terrible afterwards. And we were really awkward around each other after that. I quit about 2 months later and he moved to a different office because his GF didn't like that he worked around mainly women. She was right to be worried. Hooked up with a coworker who looked like Mr. Bean. She was a girl. Sexting my ex 5 out of 7 nights a week all senior year of high school. Never went to bed before 4 AM and had school at 7:50 AM. He also treated me quite horribly and once was all said and done he would return back to being an asshole towards me and pretending I didn't exist until of course I would get a Snapchat at 1 AM. However, I did it mostly because I enjoyed the small time where he was nice to me even if I knew it wasn't genuine nor permanent. But the times I was horny was when more regretful actions happened. He was my first serious boyfriend and who I did everything with for the first time, therefore it was hard for sure. I want to give my teenage self a hug. She deserved better than that. Pulls out the little black book. Are we doing this chronologically or alphabetically? Sex with my ex. The same day I moved out. We had broken up earlier, but it took a couple of months before I managed to find a place to move all my stuff. Afterwards, I just laid there and hugged her hard. Didn't want to let go. Just laid there in a cuddly mess for half an hour, covered in sweat and other bodily fluids. But most of all, tears. I don't know why the duck I did that to myself. It was supposed to make us both feel better and relieve stress. But it was just torture. I should have just left much earlier, preferably when she wasn't at home. Enthusiastically went home with a guy who said he had a dog. He had 2. Found out from a friend the next time he had just gotten out of jail for homicide. My 20s. The whole damn decade. I sat on a glass jar, fucking in the trunk of my boyfriend's mom's car while his mom was driving. We thought we were sneaky, but she felt the car rock the whole time because of him kicking off the side. We broke up a few weeks later. Some of the porn I look at, good god. Immediately when it's over I'm like, get that devil shit out of my face. Some of the shit I've done it to is just, oh my god. Nothing illegal to look at, just really ducking weird. I regret Amy. It's been 8+ years, and she still stalks me. I live in a different place now. I'm married, with a child. She hasn't tried approaching my wife or son, but I see her in public, staring at me. Nowadays I just kind of ignore her. I conceal carry, so I'm not worried. It's just weird, and the cops won't do anything till she does something illegal. Amy, if you're reading this, go duck yourself. You were the reason we broke up in the first place. Cheating on me with my best friend in my bed. Stop stalking me. Broke my frenulum. I came onto my best female friend. We'd flirted back and forth for years, so I didn't see the harm in asking. I was super blunt about my interest and she laughed the whole thing off. We talked less and less after that, and now I haven't spoken to her in 2 years. I regret ducking up the best friendship I've ever had to try to get my dick wet. It was so ducking stupid of me. possibly regret some porn selections after the deed was done, but sometimes you need to see a midget fisted. Jacked off in the shower while laying down in the tub, shower water raining down from above. It was very nice and ended nicely. Later that day, I went to take a shit. Shit wouldn't come out, and I felt an odd tugging sensation between my ass cheeks. Thought I was dying, and started freaking out while I tried to pinch my shit off to investigate. Turns out my jizz had found its way into my ass cheeks while laying down in the tub, mingled with all my ass hair, and solidified into a gelatinous plaster. Upon shitting, the hair was so ducked together that my cheeks couldn't separate for the shit to emerge. Felt like that Play-Doh hair salon toy. I ended up having such a massacre of shit come on my ass and hands that I had to get back in the shower just to clean off. Edit. Apparently this officially counts as a self-cream pee. I woke up next to Pam. She was a shipyard welder, and I was shit-faced. This was back when I feared and had trouble with tequila. Even worse was that she hit me up a couple of weeks later. Wrote a letter to my supervisor, asking him out about a month after I left the job and was ghosted. It's been about 8 months and now I'm going back to that forsaken place because adulting is hard and money is important. Well, this is going to be awkward. I just wanted someone to hold my hand, occasionally screw and watch Gladiator on a first date. What guy doesn't like Gladiator? I did ask him if he would like to take my dumb dog for a walk. The height difference wouldn't have worked anyway. There's been several. Worst was when I had a three-way where one of the girls was really hot, and the other both looked and behaved hideously. Terrible personality, but it was the only way to get the hot girl. Spent the first 40 minutes focusing on the hot one, while the other girl kept trying weird shit and I just cold come. Hot girls comes, then leaves and goes downstairs. So here's me facing down the biggest turn off of my life with a raging boner. I was so horny and drunk I ducked her anyway. Eventually nutted. She wouldn't leave me alone after that for a long time. Anytime I tried to invite the hot one over she would bring her friend, which resulted in doing the exact same thing 3 times. Just didn't learn my lesson. I always felt so dirty afterwards. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.